Welcome back, everybody, to Gen, and welcome back to Final Fantasy VI. So we are currently in this village for the reason of searching for Terra, and oh look, it's Shadow! We meet again. Yes, we do. Somebody actually suggested the Batman voice for Shadow. I don't know. Leave me alone. Well, fine. Yeah, there really isn't a whole lot to do with Shadow here, but it's just a nice little cameo that he makes throughout the journey. And I actually love the fact that somebody was asking, so if he got an introduction and all that, does Shadow join the party? I'm glad that we have new viewers to the Final Fantasy series, because that's an awesome question. Yes, he does, but he's actually one of the last party members to join. And we'll see in a little bit. He will help you from time to time, but he's definitely the last. Because he'll be the I think he'll be the last one that we actually try and get for endgame. And so that's how far along it has to be before Shadow becomes viable. You can also tell he's kind of a character because you can buy items for him and see whether or not it's an improvement for him or anything like that. However, I would advise don't buy anything for him because, again, it's going to be forever until you bring him into your party. So yes, you may see him kind of jumping up and down. Don't worry about him. Especially if you're a brand spanking new player. I know you want the ninja, but the ninja ain't going to come to you for quite a while. But that's actually really cool because there's actually a lot of bonus story around Shadow. And so I can already tell you that, because this is another question I get for Final Fantasy VI, will I be doing that bonus content surrounding Shadow? And I'm going to try. I'm going to try and do it. I don't think it locks out at any point, but we're going to make sure to at least give it a try. And like I said, this is actually a point where I did do some grinding. And again, if you're brand spanking new to the series, I don't grind on camera. I just magic cut to where I'm ready to go. I know that irritates some, but frankly, I have a feeling I would bore you to tears with trying to do grinding on camera. And I don't want to do that. And right now, our objective, now that we've had Terra, quote, talk to the Esper, we had a very unusual reaction, and now we're looking for her. So she was basically flying off in the sky to the west, and so now we are trying to locate where Terra went. And so if you actually go to these neighboring towns, Gen and Jador, you'll actually start getting some hints. I know where she is, and those hints are kind of vague, but I think most of them are vague, and then one of them outright says where she is. But I know where she is. So don't worry about that. We'll get there when we get there. And this is actually... So, you guys just barely saw me get an incorrect blitz input. This is one of my gripes with the PlayStation version of this game, is the blitzes are kind of non-responsive. Maybe it's because I have a controller that doesn't work too well with them or something like that, but I try to do things like Fire Dance and Aura Bolt, and it basically chooses when it wants to work. So I don't know if it's because of the game or if it's because of the controller or the hardware. Don't know. Just the way it goes. Alright, and this is actually where I needed to go because I really don't want these random encounters. I want you guys to be able to enjoy the story right along with me. And this is not the place. This is actually another interesting location. Oh, it's a random old man out in the middle of nowhere. And we just took his hero ring. We can't let the world become too peaceful. My Colosseum will be a monument to war if I can ever get the help I need to finish it, that is. I find it funny that I just so happen to find this by accident, because this will play into the game later. Eventually this guy, so I'm not going to reveal too much, but eventually this guy will get his Colosseum built. Ooh, and I actually do like that hero's ring. Raises fight and magic damage. That is helpful, so we might as well put that on somebody who's using magic. Because remember, we don't have too many characters that can right now. and more random encounters. Oh my goodness. So I'm actually happy to say, you know, I do have a little bit of business to discuss, but I'm going to keep it as limited as possible because, well, I'm kicking back this week. I got through E3. We got a big summer project done with me and the Geek News crew, so I'm happy about that. And on top of that, I was able to get so much done that I'm actually able to give myself a few days off to kind of celebrate Father's Day, since this is my first Father's Day. And yeah, I wasn't able to celebrate it on the exact day, but close enough, you know? But right now, I am breathing a very big sigh of relief. I've gotten a lot of stuff done. I just barely put up a review for Uncharted 4, so you guys can watch that. And I actually love it. So somebody actually did ask, so when are you going to actually be caught up? Well, I'm working on that right now. But what may actually happen is I'm just going to start playing the current game and then fill in the gap as we go along. Because I do not like putting out late reviews, but if I can at least put out the most recent game currently, then I would at least have something to work with. It's additional work, but I'm kind of where you guys are at. I don't want to put out reviews late, and unfortunately, this is kind of my fault. But yeah, I just barely put up the review for Uncharted 4. Feel free to go take a look at that. I've been putting up tons of other content, including finishing up the Devil May Cry 3 playthrough with Brinton, so you guys can look at that. But now that that's done, in a couple of weeks, we actually will be getting together for a Q&A. So if you guys have questions that you would like to ask either me or Brinton, well, particularly Brinton, about his channel, about games you would like to see him play, or things like that, feel free to leave a comment in any of those Devil May Cry 3 videos, or email me directly at geekyweek@gmail.com, and I will put that in the list. And of course, the next question I got was, well, when is the next one coming up? It's actually coming up very soon. Because the next one is going to be with me and Alex, and for the first time, after a lot of requests, Andrea will join the Geek News crew, at least for the moment. And of course, we're buying more gear, because you can never be too prepared, especially with where we're going. If you are unprepared, this is why I actually took the grinding break. If you are unprepared for this area, this new area will kind of eat you alive. So, because this is where the game... 6 is one of those games that I would actually dare say if you take it too lightly, it is merciless. So at that point, you do need to get your level grinding done. You do need to work on things like getting new tools for Edgar, getting new sword techs for Cyan, getting new blitzes for Sabin. You want to be able to do that, at least in the beginning half of the game. In the latter half, it becomes a little bit more optional, because you will have another aspect that I don't want to spoil too much on this particular video, but it will help along the journey. But yeah, so back to the business, we've got the MC3 out, the Legion beta coverage, there's lots out there now. I've gotten both the Broken Shore video versions up, both Alliance and Horde, and the Horde version is significantly different compared to the Alliance version, because around that time is when they started implementing the quest line to get Dalaran to the Broken Shores. So you guys can appreciate that. And then Tale of Drak we just barely put up part 2, I believe, and part 3 and I think 4 are going to be coming fairly soon. And I do have a new video of Stardew Valley, but I also have, because you guys continue to request Stardew Valley, but I do have some other games in mind that have been requested and I haven't been able to get my hands on till now. So you guys can look forward to that as well. And right now we're just kind of wandering around the town of Jadar to make sure we get everything we need. Because again, like I said, this new area is going to eat us alive if we're not prepared. But aside from that, yeah, everything is going on schedule. So I'm actually going to go ahead and let you guys know in advance, there will not be a Geek News episode this weekend. And it's just simply because we have a big project that we're working on that I can't talk too much about. and we're going to be working very frantically to get that done. And so, basically, I am going to be buying the Geek News crew some time to be able to work on that. I know that 2 hours in the middle of Saturday night isn't that much, but if the panelists don't necessarily have to worry about it, then and they can focus on that, then that's great. Because this is a big deal, and I have a feeling you guys will like it very much. And when I can actually talk about it, but I will. Oh, you're the spitting image of Maria, huh? This'll come into play later, people. I'll just warn you now. Don't worry too much about it just yet. But yeah, I think that's pretty much the, do I want to spoil the new request that I'm going to be taking on? This one has been requested for a couple of months now, given my love for point-and-click adventure games. This one got requested out of the blue if I'd ever heard of a game called Franbo. And, I had, but I'd always known it as a horror game, and no, it's a point-and-click horror game. So, at that point, the next request is actually going to be us taking on, or me taking on Franbo, and whether or not we finish the game is up to you guys. I might finish it in my own spare time if it's really, really good, but if you guys want to continue to see it, you're more than welcome to ask. I mean, after all, I did kind of complete Undertale. The other thing I also want to point out, I love the fact that you guys are liking the new kind of format that the live streams have taken. And I actually have been taking some of that feedback to heart. I may actually do it this way. I may still find ways to be able to do a live stream on the channel. I mean, obviously the podcast is a live stream, but I may actually continue doing this too, because I can record this stuff on my own time, and you guys, then at that point I can deliver a little bit more of a polished product than a live stream would allow. Which I appreciate more, because as much as I love doing the live streams for you guys, I always find at least one problem here and there in them that I wished hadn't happened. For example, when I did the Overwatch playthrough, I didn't realize it until it was processed that the audio for Overwatch wasn't there. And it's like, oh yeah, that's a big deal. You know, it's the funniest thing that I complain about game companies having bad audio mixing and all that. And yeah, there you go, no sound. So maybe this is just the better way to go, because I can make sure that everything is working. All right, and so we actually just barely visited the Opera House. Again, this is an area that will come into play a little bit later in the playthrough, because we will actually need to go there to set up some story. But not yet. Obviously, we have one focus, and that is to locate Terra. And I think that's actually going to wrap up the business here. I wish I could tell you that I had tons of stuff to talk about with the games that I've been playing, but I really don't. Because I've been trying to catch up on reviews, and I've been trying so hard to do things like the Summer of WoW and the Let's Plays with the various panelists of Geek News, it's been not a chore, but it's been difficult to be able to sit down and just play Mass Effect 3 for a while. I do have one little update that I haven't really talked about, and that is that I just barely started up Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. And I guess all I have to say is WTF. I'm not that far in the game, bear in mind. And I don't have any problem with Edward Kenway as a character. I think he's fine. I haven't seen too much of him, so I can't really comment too much on his character. But when I saw the whole Abstergo bit, I kind of raged, for lack of a better word. I raged because I had no idea what this game was trying to do. So basically we went from Abstergo trying to find the secrets of life within Desmond to now Desmond being, well, dead as of 3. And now it's become a travel agency. And the purpose is to, I guess, record Animus segments and be able to let people live it as kind of like a holo vacation. I guess. I tried to keep track of it. I really couldn't. And what made it even worse was, like, they actually had, like, cameos from some of the developers of Assassin's Creed at the time. And I hung my head low. I'm just like, where has this series gone? Sure, the past looks great. The past will always look great in an Assassin's Creed game. That being said, I haven't played Unity or Liberation or any of the other ones. But yeah, I know that the past is going to be fine, that it's all going to work out, both story-wise and visually. That's not my issue. One of the things that actually drew me towards Assassin's Creed was the whole Desmond storyline. And it's gone. Instead, I'm random dude who just so happens to have the genetic memories of a pirate. And yeah, I just don't know what to make of it. I really don't. Alright, so this is actually our destination. This is actually where Terra is. In the town of Zozo, or I should say the Thief's Haven, Zozo. And this is actually one of my more favorite tracks of Final Fantasy VI, is this one. Give it a second. Da, 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 da. I love this track. I had such hatred for Zozo as a kid. But I do. I love the Zozo track. It just resonates with me. So, yeah, right now we are in basically a thief's haven. And I don't actually know what I'm doing here. I might have to magic cut this a little bit. So, I don't know what happened there, but we magic cut as best as we could. So now we're back in this building. And people might be wondering, well, Drak, why did Terra come here? That's a very good question. I wish I could answer that for you, aside from look at the pretty bunny, because my answer won't make a whole lot of sense. She just went to somewhere randomly. If you remember, like from the previous part, she wasn't exactly in the best state emotionally, so it kind of makes sense that she would just go to the nearest area, probably because she burned out, kind of thing. Whatever the Esper did to her, probably burned out of her system by that point. But again, onto the Zozo love, because I shouldn't love this. I remember actually as a kid getting stuck in Zozo, and one of the reasons I didn't like it as a kid, as you're noticing, I'm getting randomly attacked in Zozo. So everything you've been taught up until this point, as a Final Fantasy fan, as an RPG fan, towns are safe havens. You never get attacked in them. You can go to the inn and rest. If you don't want to be randomly assaulted, or you want to go and get new weapons or whatever, you can just go to town. This is the one time where that's not the case. Now granted, the atmosphere of Zozo tells you this, that it's dangerous. But as a kid, again, I'm used to the tropes that were being taught to me by RPGs, that towns were safe. And all of a sudden, wait, and random attack, and my little heart sank. Because it's like, crap, I am not safe here. Oh, and this one's rusted shut. Oh, noes! I think eventually we will be able to do something about it, or about the rusted door. Don't quote me on that, though. I might be getting that wrong. The other part about Zozo that is actually frustrating too is the fact that monsters up until this point are proper level. So again, if you have not been grinding, and you are not a proper level for these guys, well, this is a great place to grind, kind of. It's a great deal away from Jidor, so I hope you brought a lot of tents. But it's probably just better to level before you get here, because otherwise, this place grants you no mercy. Right now I'm actually just looking, so there actually are a couple of bonus items that I want to get in Zozo. One of which is one of the most powerful tools and weapons that Edgar can ever get. I don't know why I said tools and weapons, but like with the tools option, one of the best tools you can get for Edgar is in Zozo, as long as you know how to do it. And there's an entire riddle going on in this place, but it's also kind of a lie because, again, we're in a thief's haven and nobody tells the entire truth. So I remember the first time I figured this out was probably in my second playthrough, but I had like a GameFAQs guide up to help me to understand the riddles that these guys will start stating regarding that mysterious room. And it all deals with a clock. That's why it's hard, because some people may know what one of the combination pieces to that clock is. They may be lying about it, or they may not know at all. But I believe we can go in here and start the process up. Haven't seen any girls around here. Might want to check the building, the top of the building or something. While getting randomly attacked all the freaking time. Shibbity Christmas. Can we please kill this guy? Thank you. 700, there you go. And see, here's the thing. I know where Terra is, but I want to be able to get this bonus item first. There are a couple of other items that you can get. They're not as worthwhile. They're not bonus items like Edgar's new tool is. And I think right now, yeah, so the reason I'm having a little bit of a pause is because I'm consulting a guide, because I do not want to get this wrong. And people have actually asked me if I have all the strategy guides for the Final Fantasy games. I pretty much do. Minus the new ones that have come out. So I have 13 and 13.2, but I don't have Lightning Returns because I don't have that game yet. Eventually, my list got big enough people that I just stopped buying them. I know that's hard to believe. Or I stopped buying them, I stopped pre-ordering them, I stopped all of that. Is that gonna be enough? No, we have to Aura Bolt him. Magnitude 8! Oh no, it's super effective! Yeah, no. It's not very effective. Well, it kind of was, but that's what Cure's for. But yeah, I have pretty much all of the... maybe minus the side games that have come out. So I don't have... if there's a strategy guide for Final Fantasy IV The After Years, I don't have that. Crisis Core, Dirge of Cerberus... I don't have any of those. Yeah. So, but the main line I do. With a couple of exceptions. I have 10.2's guide, and I have 13.2, but not Lightning Returns. I'm probably going to get 15's guide, just because I don't have a guide for 11 or 14. This place is dangerous. And did you know you can jump between buildings? I didn't, but thank you for pointing that out. So this is actually the clock. And so, again, I'm consulting a guide because I don't want to get this wrong, because I think if you get it wrong, you can't access it. So 6, 10, and 50. Boom, 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 boom. And there is a little chest right there. And of course, I get attacked by a Slam Dancer. Because why not? That's okay, I have a little thing called Pummel. And Pummel actually works on the controller, so at least I have a good default to go to in the meantime. There we go. And in the chest, we have the chainsaw. So this is one of the best tools Edgar can get. And mainly because either A, it will hit an enemy for a butt-ton of damage, at least as far as right now is concerned. It's like 1,000. Or with non-boss enemies, occasionally you'll get Edgar's inner Jason Voorhees to come out and instantly kill an enemy. And it actually has like a 50-50 chance to miss. which is sad, but at the same time, still very, very awesome. It's one of those tools that I've always loved, and wished I would have had in my first playthrough, because I would have abused the heck out of that. And people have already begun to point out I don't have a whole lot of tools. I don't think a whole lot of the tools become available until much later in the game, but I have the tools available that I can get right now. At least the ones that I think will help. Let's go ahead and cure Celeste really quick, because she's already really low on magic. And now that we've found the chainsaw, I think it is going to be that time, everybody. So we're going to go ahead and wrap up for now. But when we get back, we're going to continue to quest in Zozo to find Terra.